Hello, Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Dr. Hinda Sheikh from Dental Magic. If you are new here, then welcome. If you're already been a Dental Magic family, then welcome back. Today I have come up with a video for you guys who have decided to practice as a dentist in UK and have started their preparation for ORE or LDS exam. Then guys, this video is for you because this is the video in which I will be telling you the most important topics that you have to study in each subject, and you cannot afford to leave these topics as they are very important for you guys, and there is not much information about this on the internet. Then let's get started. Before getting into the video, if you want to know more and if you are interested in such videos, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button and be the Dental Magic family. So coming back to the topic, the first subject is anatomy. Anatomy is quite a long subject and it can take a lot of your time in mugging up rather than understanding. So the number of days for the first time, if you're learning it, then you can take approx 10 days to complete your subject. If you're doing it for the second time, then you can probably take less time. The books that you have to prefer is Biochemistry and Blue Book. And the most important thing that you don't have to cover the entire anatomy, you only have to cover head and neck. Yes, the topic that you have to cover is head and neck. Now let's talk about the major topics that you have to cover. So the topics are as follows. The first is soft palate, other is salivary glands, tongue, superficial embryology including arches, pouches and diagrams, and cranial nerves, eyes. And one very important thing that you have to keep in mind is I would recommend is you can prefer to Netter's book for the diagrams of head and neck. As in Netter's, the diagrams are very nicely explained and given, so you can prefer to that book. If you don't want to switch to any other new book, then you can continue with the book that you are preferring since your graduation. There is no harm in it, but for diagrams I would recommend you to go to Netter's and prefer Netter's. Coming back to the topic, the other topics are cranial nerve, eye, head and neck, and for the facial muscles you can study TMJ, tongue, skull diagnosis. In mandible and salivary glands, hyoid bones, cranial nerve lesions, extracranial nerve causes of extracranial cause of nerve paralysis. So these are the major topic that you have to cover. If you have more time, you can cover the other topics too, but these are the major concern that you have to complete it first and then switch on to the other topics. Apart from this, you also have to study and go through in and out the diagrams, because diagrams are very important. If you have any atlas for the diagrams, you can go through that book. Otherwise, BD Choresia is the best book that you can refer to for the diagram as well as to study. The next subject is physiology. Physiology is also a lengthy subject and it also requires a lot of time. So you will take approximately 10 days to complete it, or you can add or subtract the days according to your convenience if you think in whatever time you can complete it. And if you want to know more important books for ORE or LDS exam, you can go and watch my video and I will provide the link in the description box also. So coming back to the topic, if you have Vanders, if you cover it, trust me, nobody can defeat you in this subject. Now you will be thinking that you have to complete the entire Vanders. Then no, there is a good news for you guys. The good news is you only have to cover 4 topics which are very important as you have studied in your dentistry also. So the 4th topic you have to go in and out and you have to learn it by heart. The topics are respiratory system, circulatory vascular system, muscles and immune systems. So physiology, you can cover it from Vanders, and from Vanders you can cover the chapter number 1, 3, 4, 6, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 18. So you can cover these topics from wonders, and it is very nicely explained and given in wonders. So for physiology you can cover these topics first, and then if you have time and if you want to do more, then you can go for yourself. But these are the major concentration of this subject. Now coming to the other subject, that is dental material. I know it's boring, and you must have hard times in learning during your dentistry time, but I will make it a bit easier for you. The book that you have to refer is Churchill and the Pink Book. And trust me guys, if you complete the pink book for dental material, then you don't need any other reference. That is all you need. For example, if a pink book have 10 to 15 pages, then you are done with dental material. You don't need anything else. Once you complete your pink book, the things that are mentioned in the book, you go in and out, and then you go to the Churchill. If you think there some things are missing and that thing is important, then you can note it down in your notes, and you can read it whenever you are revising your dental material. That's it. You don't need anything else. You don't need any in-depth knowledge. So for dental material, the number of days you need is, I guess, 2 or 3 days are more than enough. I think if you are studying for 3-4 hours, I guess 10 to 15 pages are not much to cover. So just cover pink book first and you are done with dental material. The next subject is biochemistry. Even you must have done for this subject. I know there are a lot of structures, lot of formulas like carboxyl groups, hydroxyl groups, but I will be telling you what you have to do majorly in this subject, so that you don't have to go through the entire thing all over again, which is so boring. So in the subject, you only have to cover the cycles that are mentioned. If you have blue book, and if you have ever seen or opened it, you have seen there are a lot of structures and cycles given, so you only have to cover that. The cycles that you have to cover are glycolysis cycle, Krebs cycle, glycogenesis cycle, glycogenolysis cycle, fat oxidation, and lipid metabolism. And remember one thing, the most important thing is the byproduct of every cycle. You should remember what enzyme is initiating the cycle and what byproduct is coming out of it. So you have to just go through it very thoroughly. So the Krebs cycle is very important, and the byproduct you have to learn it by heart. So these are the cycle that you have to cover in biochemistry, which are very important. And the number of days I think you require for it is 1 or 2 days. In this time you will most probably cover it, and then go through the blue book, which is also important, and see what else is required and what is left beside these cycles. That's it for the biochemistry. You don't have to go through everything, every topic you have been studying in your dentistry time. Biochemistry is a very important in the dentistry, as the cycles and their byproducts are very important in dentistry. So this is only the thing that will be asked in ORE. So be prepared for the cycles and their byproduct related questions in ORE or LDS. The next subject is dental anatomy. For dental anatomy, you just have to solve the MCQs, as much MCQs as possible. And apart from the MCQs, you have to do the diagrams, the marginal grooves, the cusp. You have to learn it by heart. It will not only help you in part 1, but it will also help you in part 2 when you'll be doing the practical exam. That will help you in identifying the tooth and other things that is required to do in the patient's mouth. So in this subject, you just have to complete the MCQs as much as possible, and the diagrams. Don't forget the diagrams. Diagrams are very important. If it comes around 3 to 4 questions of the diagram only, so it will help you gain number as much as possible. So don't forget the diagrams in this or any other subject. So the next subject is dental histology. The books that you have to refer is 10 and the blue book. In blue book, everything is very nicely given, so you don't have to look for any other book. But for the people whose basics are not clear for the tooth development, then they have to refer to the 10 first, then they can come back to the blue book. And the topic that you have to study by heart is the tooth development. You have to make a chart of classification when they grow, when they rise, when they develop, the time of the period of development, the head and neck parts should be in and out of your brain like by heart, like hard palate, secondary palate, primary palate, tongue, fissures, and TMJ and dental papilla. So these are the things that you have to make the chart of, and you have to remember it by heart. So this is the thing that you have to study in this subject. So read only the blue book and refer for the dates and the charts to the 10K if you want to. One very important advice is ORE is all about the basics and the concepts. So make one thing very clear in your head, that your basics should be, concept should be very clear, so that you are able to solve all the questions very easily. Otherwise it becomes very tough to understand what the question is asking. The next subject is pharmacology, which is moderately to moderate subject. So the number of days you require for this subject is 3 to 4 days. The book that you have to refer is Churchill and the Pink Book, and the SDCP guidelines. For SDCP guideline, there is an app, or you can just go on Google and type SDCP latest guidelines and you'll get it. I would recommend you to go to the Pink Book first and then go back to the Churchill and see whatever is left and whatever is important for you and you think it is important and it's not present in the Pink Book. Just note it down and go through it once you are revising it. And at glance, you will there are two things that you will not get in the Pink Book, that is anticoagulant and steroids. So you have to get the SDCP of anticoagulant and steroids, and you don't have to study everything. You just have to study the basics, that is if INR is less than 4, what you have to give. If INR is more than 4, then what you have to give. So these are the things that you have to remember, and as I'm mentioning is again and again, you have to know the basics first to solve the question of ORE. It's all about concepts and the basics. Sometimes pharmacology is also the major concern, because there is a lot of things to grasp and understand and learn from that subject. So what you can do is you can pick out the things what I am mentioning and do and learn and understand it yourself. So what you can do is analgesia, which is very important, from the Pink Book. That is more than enough. In Pink Book it is given enough to study about that. And from masters part 1 you can do pain and anxiety control, and from masters 2 you can complete conscious sedations, and the doses you can prefer to the Scottish guidelines, that you have to complete it anyhow. So these were the important topics in the pharmacology that you have to cover. And hypersensitivity, bacterial cell structure, necrosis, gangrene, immunoglobulins, type of bacteria and diseases, their characteristic, from Blue Book. In virus, you have to cover hepatitis and hepatitis A, B, C, D, E, and immunology is very important. You can cover it from Vanders, and vaccine, all types of vaccine, dead and living, are important. In immunology, you just go through the important boxes that are given in that chapter. And inflammation, and last is inflammation, and try to make charts of everything, their characteristics, their diseases, their vaccines available, so that will make it easier for you to remember. I hope I'm clearing it very clear to you. If you still have any query, you can comment down below now and I will answer them all. For microbiology, as I have told, what are the important things that you have to cover. But the things that you have to cover from the blue book that are very very important is, from the blue book you have to study chapter 49, 51 and 52. They are very very important and covers all these aspects that I have mentioned, the topics that I have mentioned. Let me tell you one thing, that is, some of the topics are good in Scully, some topics are good in Wanders. So what I have done is I have prepared immunology chapter from Wanders, as it was very nicely explained and given. It was not hard to understand. And the allergy and hypersensitivity sensitivity chapter I have done from Scully, as it is mentioned very nicely. But I will give you a small disclaimer that if you have been doing and you don't want to switch to many books or for other different topics, then there is no need of switching it to many books and going through all the books. It is just my suggestion that what I have been doing and I have done. So if you want to, you can prefer, otherwise you can just continue with the one book that you have been preferring since your graduation, as it makes easy for you to just revise and go through that topics again. The next subject is general medicine. So the books that you have to refer is Scully and the Pink Book. The Pink Book is sufficient. So you have to go through Pink Book first, take the topic from there, and then you can come back to the Scully and read it from there. So this will be convenient, as Scully is a very 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 vast book. You cannot cover it completely. So my advice is go to Pink Book, study, take the topics from there and study it from the Scully. This will make the things easier for you, and it will sort the topics out for you, that what you have to study and what you don't have to study. Reminding you again, make your basics and concept very 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 clear. And for oral medicine now, oral medicine, you have to go through the Pink Book. That is enough. You don't have to prefer any other book. So I would advise just go through the Pink Book. The whatever 5, 10, 20 pages are given, just go through it. I know reading one time will not help you out, so I would say just go through that pink and blue book as many times as you can, as they are with the major and the very 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 important book for you to study for ORE or LDS exam. Now, one disclaimer for you is, remember to practice all the feedback questions. They are very important. And don't remember to practice the past question papers, because sometimes you might get a repetitive question. So that will be a bonus point for you if you know it. So I would recommend you to do all the feedback questions and the past papers. They are very important. Else you have to practice MCQs as much as possible. And one more thing, that is, try to practice MCQs online. That will help you during your exam, as you don't have to hassle what you have to do, how you have to do. So it will make your work and understanding very easy if you do it from the starting. And for radiology, what I have done is I have preferred to Churchill, and I have just gone through in and out radiology summary, and that was it for me. And the other thing that I have done is I have been through all the radiographs and the image based questions that can be expected in ORE exam, and the clinical based question in radiology that can be asked. So I would say just go through the summary of radiology in Churchill, and then practice as much MCQs as possible on YouTube, on online, or if any of the practice course you have taken, then go through all that. Then that will be helpful and sufficient for you in radiology. For restorative dentistry, you cannot leave anything, because it's all very important, and there are a lot many questions asked regarding this subject. So you have to prefer to the Pink Book, and you have to prefer to Churchill. And the last book is Masters 2, that you can cover restorative as well as the endo part from that book. So these are the books that you have to cover. Not all everything, but you have to, don't go in depth, but just go through the basic concepts that you should know about RCTs, about the files that you are using, their numbers, which is used in what. So these are the basic things that you have to keep in mind. Okay. For Perio, again you have to prefer to the Pink Book and Churchill, and one very important PPT, that PPT by British Society of Periodontology. So if I'll get the link, I'll provide it in the description box. Otherwise, just search it on Google. You'll get it there very easily. This is what you have to cover in periodontology. Now, pediatric dentistry, it is an important subject, and the very important book for you to prefer for pedo is Masters 2. It is very, very important. I would say just leave everything else and just concentrate on Masters 2 book. And the other book is Pink book. What you can do is just go through the Pink book chapters in pedo. Just go thoroughly just grasp everything whatever it is in the Pink book, and then prefer to Masters 2. For OMFS, now let's talk about OMFS. So for OMFS, you have to prefer to Masters 1, Masters 2, Pink book. For Masters 1, you can prefer to the 3, 6, 8 and 9, and in from Masters 2 you can do dental implants. So that's it in OMFS. You don't have to go a lot, but I would suggest that again and again I'm repeating this thing in the entire video, that do as much MCQs as possible. Like if you're giving 1 hour to any of the subject, give 3 to 4 hours to MCQs, as MCQs will help you know what you have learned from that subject, and will help you in further future during your exam also. For ortho, what you have to do is first you have to remember all the theories that are given, and the tooth development and tooth movement, and all the appliances, and in what scenario what appliances are given, and what treatment or surgery is given in what scenario. That has to be known very nicely. So in ortho, these are the things that you have to learn, and the major topic. We cannot end this video before telling you the most important topics about BDA sheets, as it is also a very, very important and a lengthy topics to cover. So the important topics for BDA sheets are data protection, ethics in dentistry, infection control, radiation control, dental recall, health and safety, risk assessment, and delivering a better oral health. So these are the major topics that you have to cover anyhow in your BDA sheets, else you have to go through the BDA sheets entirely. I won't say leave anything in BDA sheet, but these are the topics that you have to go first for, and then you can switch on to other topics. Comment down below now if you want to know more, or if you have any more queries regarding this. And your love and support has motivated me always to come up with the videos like this to help you in any best way possible. So that's it for the video. Thank you for watching the video till end. If you like the video, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like button, and be the Dental Magic family. Stay tuned for the next video. Till then, stay safe, be happy. Allah Hafiz.